the greatest attack jet you never heard of, the A-37 Dragonfly, the Super Tweet. I'm looking forward to jumping into this one. Before we do, I appreciate if you guys can hit that subscribe button down below. And I'm also posting extra content to my Patreon page. Link is in the description. But yeah, let's get into this and see what we got.
Pretty much everybody already knows about America's gun with wings, the A-10 Warthog.
Oh,
and a
of
ton of
course.
more people already know that its grandpa is the original Thunderbolt, the P-47, and its dad is the A-1 Sky Raider. But pretty much nobody talks about the A-10's mom, which is actually where it got the DNA for a nose-mounted minigun.
Interesting.
Today we're talking about the A-37 Dragonfly, aka the Super Tweet.
Alright, let's see it, man. Let's see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a 5,000-pound fighter jet carrying 3,000 pounds of napalm.
Mad.
That is literally a ton and a half of firepower in a very small package.
Series 4D out of my that's what I'm talking
What?
about.
And on the off chance that 3,000
3,000
pounds of jungle jelly wasn't going to be enough to get the job done, it also has a Gao 2 minigun underneath the hood, capable of firing 3,000 rounds per minute. The only
just in case you need it, man. Just in case you need it.
downside with that was it could only actually carry 1,500 rounds with it, but hey, it's going to be a wild 30 seconds.
It was okay at best.
I wasn't talking to you. Anyways, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, the A-37 is the aerial equivalent of a go-kart covered in guns. This thing is absolutely tiny. To put it into perspective, the F-4 Phantom, which was the other fighter jet used all the time during Vietnam, was weighing in at 55,000 pounds, and the Dragonfly is coming in at 5. However, despite its small stature and the fact that it gets literally...
How is it so, like... How does it weigh so much less?
No recognition for it at all. It is arguably the most effective fighter jet of the entire Vietnam War. Once upon a time in 1952, the United States Air Force came out and said, hey, we need to incorporate more jets into our fleet. The only problem is we don't have many pilots that actually know how to fly a jet. So we need to get a new type of jet trainer plane that we can train all of our pilots on. Cue the Cessna T-37. It was absolutely perfect. It was small, cheap, easy to take off, easy to land, super easy to fly, and it had side-by-side seating for an instructor and a student. This jet was so perfect that it was actually the U.S. Air Force's primary jet trainer for 52 years. It didn't retire until 2009. The only problem with the T-37 is that it generated a very, very high-pitched shrieking noise while it was running.
Alright, that's hurting my ears now. Never mind being there. Like, imagine... Wait, and that's constant? Like, would a pilot hear that all the time whilst it's going? Oh. Okay, yeah, no.
That noise unaffectionately earned it nicknames like the Screamin' Mimi, the 6,000-pound dog whistle, my personal favorite, the Converter, due to its unique ability to convert fuel into fucking noise, and of course, the Tweety Bird, which would later be abbreviated to simply the Tweet.
Oh, that's why it's called the Super Tweet. Ah. But why is it making that noise? Surely they can, like, fix that.
And that's pretty much all you need to know for right now. Fast forward to Vietnam. All right, so Vietnam, basically the United States is finding out the hard way that ultra-fast fighter jets like the F-4 simply are not that great at providing close air support to troops on the ground. As it turns out, it's pretty hard to aim a bomb while you're traveling at the speed of Mach fuck and actually hit the target. Who'da thunk? And as we've talked about in a previous video, this is actually where the Navy's A-1 Sky Raider is performing way better than anybody thought it should, due to its ability to fly low and slow and actually engage a target accurately. The Air Force, seeing all the Navy's success, said, hey, we need to do the same thing. The only problem was the Air Force didn't have Sky Raiders, and they didn't have the time to come up with a whole new plane, so what do? You take the Air Force's T-37 trainer jet that every pilot you've had has been trained on for the last 2 decades, cover it in guns, and send that bitch into combat, obviously. Okay, obviously they...
How have they done this, bro? How have they just took a trainer... Bro, America, man. And it, you know what's funny? They make it work, bro. They make it work. We get a trainer jet, put some missiles on it, boom, we're done.
They didn't just cover it in guns. They also gave it a cool paint job. They swapped out the engines, gave it a couple of General Electric J85s. Those are 3 times more powerful than the original engine, and they ran so hot and the Dragonfly sat so low to the ground that it would actually melt the asphalt beneath it if it didn't get going once they started it. And then also, I don't know why I think this is so cool, but I do. These little nub thingies on the end of the wings now, those are extra fuel tanks. Each one of those holds 95 gallons of fuel, so that it had a better combat range. So the Air Force Force created this badass little fighter jet. The only problem now was none of the actual fighter pilots wanted to fly it because it wasn't cool enough. It was too small. It was too slow, blah, blah, blah. So the Air Force was like, well, I mean, technically, pretty much every pilot we have has been trained on this thing.
Right.
So fuck it. They just started pulling pilots from other places like refuelers, supply, cargo pilots, everybody. And they just started putting them in these little fucking jets and sending them into combat. Surely this is a recipe for disaster, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. The Dragonfly and its not fighter pilots would immediately go on a rampage. They quickly became the most accurate close air support aircraft in the entire Vietnam conflict. Their average accuracy was within 45 feet of the designated target. Bah! 45 feet doesn't sound very close to me. Bah! Dude, we're not talking about playing darts here. This is 3,000 pounds of fucking jungle jelly and white phosphorus. Believe me, the only difference between a bullseye and 45 feet is maybe enough time for you to say, oh fuck, before you wake up dead.
Oh,
not only
wow.
was the A-37 Dragonfly absolutely devastating.
Bro, so you're telling me you don't get like actual fighter pilots? You just get pilots from all over the shop and they're doing that good? And bro, what? Imagine actual like the pilot fires, the fire pilots. Oh my god, it's tripping me out. The fire pilot. Imagine those that are well skilled in this though.
Stating to the enemy, but it was also virtually untouchable in the most comical way possible. You see, enemy anti-aircraft gunners were accustomed to firing at F-4 Phantoms traveling at like 1,400 miles an hour. But when the Dragonfly showed up topping out at like 500 miles an hour, the enemy anti-aircraft gunners would always overshoot. So the Dragonfly pilots just got to fly and watch all the flak and shit explode like 5 miles in front of them, and then they just got to drive right through it after the fact. Maybe the best example of slow is smooth and smooth is fast I've ever heard. Which brings us to the second chair in the phallic excavation. I mean dick dimple, I mean cockpit. Second chair in the cockpit. Remember how I told you they were side by side, one for student, one for instructor? Well, in the combat version, the Dragonfly, they didn't need a second pilot or a spotter or anything, so the chair just went empty most of the time because, well, it was more weight for sticky fire. That was until word got out that these planes pretty much never got shot down, and then all the bigwigs wanted to go on a ride so they could be in a combat mission. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that that second seat in the A-37's cockpit, it's kind of like that chair in the corner of the hotel room. It pretty much goes unused, and if it is being used, whoever's in it's probably just there to watch. I cannot believe I made that fucking joke. But wait, there's more.
Bro, what? How we just made these like similarities to that and...
Not only is it super accurate, not only is it very safe, it's also extremely easy to maintain and really cheap. The Dragonfly has a 2-to-1 maintenance ratio, meaning that for every hour it's flying, it requires 2 hours of maintenance. This means you can give 2 Dragonflies to a crew of maintainers, and they're able to keep one of those birds in the air 24/7 all the time if that's what the mission requires.
Oh, wow, cool.
This is the epitome of accuracy by volume. So just to be clear, when it comes to close air support during Vietnam, it is the most accurate, the safest, and the easiest to maintain.
How is it that good?
And you get all of that for $400,000. And that is exactly why nobody knows about this fucking plane.
Bro,
okay, if you're not picking up on...
Wait, how much was the A-10 Warthog? Yo, 400K is mad. Because I swear sometimes like the missiles are way more than that. Bro, what?
Putting down, I'll explain it just a little bit slower. The United States military just took a bunch of pilots with subpar training for the tasks that they were assigned.
This don't make sense.
Stuck them inside of subpar fighter jets and then sent them into combat. And then they somehow outperformed the fighter pilots that had actual fighter pilot training and the enormous, super expensive fighter jets. Now, be honest, do you really think that the politicians and high-ranking military officers that are in charge of budget-related shit are gonna let the world know that?
Oh,
absolutely
hell no.
not.
Hell no.
Okay, we can't have everybody running around knowing that the napalm coming out of a $400,000 plane is just as hot as the napalm coming out of a $5 million plane. That'd be fucking anarchy. As far as the world needs to be concerned, the more money we spend to kill a motherfucker, the more dead he is. I guess. It's fucking stupid. So the war...
Is that how it works?
Vietnam ends and the US military cannot get rid of these Dragonflies fast enough. They are literally giving them out for free like they're fucking candy. They're giving some to Australia. They're giving some to the South Vietnamese.
Just to get rid of them.
They're giving a bunch to the countries in Central America. Some of the ones that went to Central America are still in service today. That shows you how badass this plane really was. So they give away all these perfect...
Bro, why didn't they just work a bit more on the plane and make it like if it's that good for that cheap, why did they just add like some diamonds to it? And then it's just as expensive, and then people be like, okay, it makes sense, right? It's more expensive now.
Really good planes for free, but then trouble would strike because now, guess what? Oh no, America doesn't have a close air support plane anymore. Who could have predicted this? I guess we better just, you know, build a new one. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. The minigun in the nose this time is going to be absolutely enormous.
The Warthog.
And it's all going to come at a price tag of like fucking 20 times as much. But hey, politicians got to feed their kids somehow, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the best thing to ever come out of political corruption, the A-10 Warthog, aka America's gun with wings. We have now officially come full circle. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the A-37 Dragonfly is the most effective fighter jet that you've probably never heard of, and it's all because it and the men that flew it were way too good at their job for their price tag. Thank you for watching the video. Best way to support the channel is go.
Yo, imagine being so good at your job that they have to get rid of something so cheap because it's so good, for the fact that it's just cheap. Bro, what?
Buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com.
Yo, that's crazy.
Quack bang.
That is crazy, man. That is actually mad.
Next time the U.S. government's going to give away some fighter jets, they could at least raffle them off to the taxpayers that paid for them, because I'd like a fucking Dragonfly. Dragon balls to fucking head.
Yo, imagine a bunch of like Americans just flying around in these Dragonflies. Bro, that would be funny as hell. But really good video. Enjoyed that. Make sure you go check him out. His link will be in the description. Amazing video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/L3WG if you guys want to check me out over there. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.